Hey guys, AntVenom here, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. And today I'm going to be showing you guys the better world generation mod for Minecraft 1.3.2. Now, I've reviewed mods like this in the past, such as the Nostalgia Project and the NBX Lite mod, but this mod does what those mods did in a much better way, and it also does more things at the same time. And if you guys are unfamiliar with those two mods, basically those two mods allowed you to generate alpha and beta terrain generation from the old school days of Minecraft in the new versions of Minecraft. Well, this mod does that a lot better, and it also adds a couple more world generation options at the same time on top of those things. So the unique feature about this mod is it allows you to generate those types of terrain with strongholds, ravines, and mine shafts, and other things like that. I'm not sure about villages though, but yeah, it allows you to have the old school terrain generation with, you know, the new elements. So if you want to play one of your old school favorite maps, but you still want to be able to go to the end or something like that, or maybe you have a world that you haven't played since 1.7, even though it's almost been a year at this point, then you can go ahead and you can do that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to hit single player here, go to create new world, and then I'm going to type in beta. And then I'm going to hit creative here. And then when I go to more world options, you can notice on the world type, it still says default. Though the default world type has changed, so I'm going to be showing you guys that at the end of the video. But there's default, flat, large biomes as there normally would. And I'm pretty sure large biomes was changed as well. But now there's also the beta, alpha, survival island, survival skyland, and sky dimension world types. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in beta. And then for the seed, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in glacier, hit done. And then when I go to generate the new world, let's just go ahead and let's wait for this to generate up here. You're going to notice that this is, in essence, the glacier seed. This is exactly how it would have spawned in the old school versions of Minecraft. So if you wanted to mess around with these, you could mess around with them all you would want, because the entire world will generate exactly the same as it would in the alpha and beta versions of Minecraft. And if I were to fly around long enough, I'm sure I would end up seeing a ravine as well. If I go ahead and I pop into my creative mode inventory and I type in eye here for the Eye of the Ender, and I were to go ahead and throw it, it would show me that the nearest end portal is going to be off in that direction, which means the nearest stronghold is going to be off in that direction. And I have tested this, and you will in fact wind up at an end portal if you throw this, and then you wind up at your destination. So one thing you guys might be wondering, if you guys are familiar with old school versions of Minecraft, you know, prior to beta 1.8, is with the inclusion of alpha and beta generation, do the farlands exist? And I have a good answer for you with that. And I'm guessing you can probably guess what the answer is here. So if I go ahead and I type in TP, AntVenom, and then 12,550,789, and I'll type in 120 for the y-axis, and then I repeat the same number. I go ahead and I hit teleport here. It will bring me to the farlands, because the farlands will generate exactly as they would, you know, in the older versions of Minecraft. So if you wanted to experience the farlands, but you can't because you started playing Minecraft late or something like that, go ahead and give this mod a download. Like, give it a download like now or something. Like right about now would be a good time to download the mod, or maybe after the video is done, whatever you prefer. But anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to fly into the farlands here. And these aren't like a simulated version of the farlands or anything like that. These are, in fact, the tried and true real farlands where gravity does not happen. As you can see here, I'm hitting sand, but it's not falling. If I go into the corner area of the farlands here, and if you guys are curious about the farlands or anything like that, way back when I started doing daily videos, these were among my first videos that I did. I talked about the farlands in detail, all of the details. So if you guys want to learn about the farlands in their own separate videos, then I'll try and link to them in the description. If I wind up forgetting, well, they're on my channel somewhere, but I'll remember to link them in the description. But anyways, as you guys can see here, it is the same glitchy world generation that you would normally have. As you can see here, yeah, it's just super glitchy. And if I were to go ahead and I were to teleport to, let's say, you know, the 30 million mark, because if I actually try and type in like 2 billion or something like that, you know, it just won't let me do it. So, you know, if I try and type that in, you can see that the highest number I'm able to put in is 30 million, because that is the limit. Considering that this command is built into the game, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in, let's see here, 30, 23, 123, 120, 30, 123, 123. And because this command is built into the game, it doesn't allow you to exceed that. But if you were to use the single player commands, if that mod ever gets updated, then You can teleport out further to the 2 billion range if you wanted to, but I have to sit and wait here just for a little bit longer in order to wait for the terrain to generate. You can see mobs are now coming in, and there we go. We are now in this version, or we are now in this. But if I go past this point right here, I actually wind up in a phantom version of the world, a world without solid blocks, because the 30 million mark in Minecraft is the hard limit, and when you go over the edge, it just derps out completely. But one cool thing to note, and you guys, at least for those of you who are old school Minecrafters, have probably noticed, is that when you go into the far lands, or when you get closer to the far lands, you know, when you get this far out, the world itself does not stutter. So, you know, typically in 1.7.3 and back, when you would go to the far lands, you would notice that it would just be all like put, 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 put. That's how your view would go. But now, doesn't do that. It's as smooth as day. So if you want to do your little survival series or whatever in the Farland survival, if that's your thing, then you can go ahead and you can do that. And the same thing will happen in alpha generation of Minecraft as well. Pretty much identical looking Farlands will generate. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit save and quit the title here. Go to single player, create new world. And I'm going to go to creative again, and now I'm going to choose alpha, and then I'm also going to type in glacier as the seed. So if there were ways to control what seed you got in the alpha versions of Minecraft, but it involved editing world files in a weird way. But let's just say you happen to land on the seed that, you know, would be glacier. You know, if you tried to spawn it in alpha versions of Minecraft, you would get the glacier world seed. Though the mountain itself doesn't spawn over there, but it does spawn over here. And the reason why that happens is because this exists in the same biome in alpha and beta. But over there, because there are no biomes in the alpha versions of Minecraft, this area over there was a different biome for the mountain that rested over here in the beta versions of Minecraft. And again, if I were to travel around long enough, I'm sure I would find things like ravines and strongholds and mine shafts and whatnot. If I go ahead and I went into my inventory here and threw an eye at the ender, you would see, once again, it's going to go off in that direction. But the world generation itself is exactly the same as alpha and beta. So anyways, let me go ahead and let me save and quit the title here. Let me go to create new world here, creative, and then let me go to, let's go to survival island. It doesn't really generate that exciting of a world, though there are cave systems and stuff like that, but the area that you spawn in is just this sand island with some sugarcane over there and a chest out right here that has all of the necessary things that you're going to need in order to, you know, do a survival island adventure. Let me go ahead and let me generate one more world here for the next world type. Let me go ahead and let's see here. So the next one is Survival Skyland, and this one's kind of cool. It basically does some normal looking terrain generation, but in the sky. So you might think when spawning right here, you know, hey, this is normal terrain generation. But if I fly around long enough, then you're going to see the land is going to eventually end, and you're going to see that I am in fact on a giant island here. So as you can see, the land itself is ending, and yeah, I am on a giant island. The disadvantage of things like this, though it's not as big of a problem with Survival Skyland, is that they typically don't have that great of cave systems. But again, at least with this world generation for the sky generation, I've noticed it's really not that big of a problem. So yeah, you could have quite an adventure on one of these. Let me go ahead and let me save and quit the title here. Create new world. I hate having to do this so many times, but there's just so many options that I have to show off here. But the very last one on the list is Sky Dimension. So if I go ahead and I hit OK on this one, it's basically what I just generated, except it'll still generate infinite world, an infinite world. But it's all floating, but the cave systems are really very dull. It's not worth exploring around if you're looking for cave system exploration or anything like that. One thing I'm even kind of curious about myself is if I'm going to be able to teleport to the Farlands. 550 7891. Let's just do something like this. Let's see if I'm I'm gonna wind up in the rock itself. Okay, so let me go ahead and let me punch my way out of this thing, and we'll see what happens here. Yeah, it does look as if, am I on the Farlands? Am I near the Farlands? Yeah, okay, so it does look like the Farlands generate, but they generate in a fairly awkward looking way. This is nothing what the Farlands looks like in the alpha and beta terrain generation. Well, kind of what it looks like, but the gaps themselves are a lot bigger. This sort of reminds me of the Aether Farlands, which I think is a very appropriate thing for them to look like, considering the terrain generation here is all floating, and the Farlands themselves are based off of the terrain generation that happens in the regular versions of Minecraft. So anyways, well, the version of Minecraft or the world generation that is currently present, that's what the Farlands are based off of. I'm sure I'm confusing you guys with all sorts of information, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to show you guys one more thing here. So let me go into single player here, and let me hit on village. So along with all of the new world types and stuff like that, and I'll get into the changed up default world generation, is if I hit village here, this is a default world spawn here, and this is what one of the new villages looks like. So as you can see here, we sort of have this new outposty type looking thing. I guess if you wanted to defend your village from creepers and zombies from breaking down your doors and killing your villagers and stuff like that, then you could do that from atop that perch. There can be sugarcane farms like this. Looks like melon farms over here. Looks like a mining shaft that was in progress right here, so you can continue this mining shaft if you wanted to. There are all sorts of new features within the new villages. So these, I believe, completely replace the old villages of, you know, the default world generation. So yeah, anyways, so the last thing that I want to show you guys about this is, again, what happens when you go to spawn a default world. So for those of you who haven't seen my most recent snapshot, or rather my most recent seed showcase, it was emeralds, and it spawned a world that spawned me very, very close to a whole bunch of extreme mountains. But now when I spawn it, it doesn't spawn me anywhere near there. And another thing to note is that jungle and swamp biomes now have this sort of a color. Not really something that I like, and this is why I saved it for last. This world generation, the modified world generation that this mod maker included, is kind of cool in its own right, but I personally don't like the fact that it completely replaces the default world generation. I feel that this should be like a quote-unquote enhanced mode. I feel like right after default there should be like default enhanced or enhanced or something like that, so you could still spawn your regular 1.3.2 maps and stuff like that, and then you could spawn it with this world type in and of itself, because there are quite a few changes that was implemented into, you know, this one. In its own right, the terrain generation is a lot better. So it's just sort of like a personal preference thing. You may wind up liking the terrain generation of this, or you may end up liking the terrain generation of the regular 1.3 worlds. Really, it is your choice. So yeah, what else did I want to cover as well? I know that there's like one more thing that I wanted to cover. Right, and I just remembered. If you happen to update your version of Minecraft, or if you happen to run Minecraft, you know, without this installed, and you load up a world that was generated, you know, using this mod, well, the world itself will start generating the terrain from the default versions of Minecraft. So your worlds aren't going to get corrupted or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about your worlds becoming these like mod only worlds, because that's one thing that I really don't like about a lot of mods, is that basically when you use the mod, it requires the mod in order to, you know, play your game. Like, you basically have to wait for the mod to update in order to play Minecraft again, and that's something that I don't like. So I like showing off mods that really kind of eliminate that requirement or that problem in general. So before I go, a couple of planned features of this mod that aren't currently out as of me reviewing this are Mushroom Cave world types, Hardcore world types, Gold world types, that one should be interesting, randomly generated ruins throughout this new default world, or at least that's how I believe he intends it, you know, just these new types of ruins that are going to be generated, new dungeons, and new buildings in villages. So I assume that the village that I saw earlier was not the, like, I'm sure those weren't the only things that could be generated, but if you guys want to check this out for yourselves, again, as always, the mod is going to be in the description below for download. So anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to end off this overly extended mod review here. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. My name is AntVenom, and I bid you all farewell. Thanks so much for watching.